Did you know that BDSM and kink are healthy outlets for aggression, imagination, and attention? Hi, and welcome to The Partition, home of Kinky Wellness. My name is Dana Slosser, and I'm a sexual wellness coach that dives deep into all things kinky. I'm here to show how BDSM and kink deserves a rightful spot within the sexual wellness conversation. So, let's talk about it. Hey, and welcome back. I hope you had a great New Year's. I think it's pretty clear that New Year's is a pretty big deal around the globe. It's a great time to reflect on what you've done that year and gear up for what's ahead of you. But New Year's is also a good time to reconnect with ourselves. But on the other hand, sometimes holidays aren't that fun. Not everyone gets a good Christmas and New Year's. It's one of the most chaotic moments of the year, or at least in my opinion. Everyone just goes absolutely crazy over the Christmas and New Year's holiday. And the week between Christmas and New Year's is that weird week where it's this limbo. No one really does anything. But the holidays is a big pain point for people who feel powerless. And feeling powerless during the holidays is quite common. And regardless of the holidays, in a day-to-day setting, it seems that we live in a world that really wants us to be in this constant state of powerlessness. It says everything out there wants us to forget what power actually feels like. You know, when you sign on to your social media, it's like headline after headline, news story after news story, post after post. It brings forward a pretty big feeling of powerlessness. There's so much out there in the world that you can't really fix, but you'd like to. But this year, I want to remind you that power is not reserved for a particular group of people. Google defines power as the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of actions. Now, you don't want that? Are you going to tell me to my face that you don't want something like that? Everybody wants to feel that. Who doesn't want to feel that? At some point or another, everybody wants to feel the feeling of power. And now I'm not saying it should be the only feeling you should want to have, but feeling power or powerful is still a feeling we all want to feel. But even regardless of wanting it or not wanting it, it's a fact that we actually do indeed need the feeling of power in our lives. The opposite of feeling powerful is, again, feeling powerless or trapped. And you can't live like that. That's not a good feeling. Plus, without power, we actually can't do any real positive change in our life. And that's why you need something in your routine that gives you the feeling of power to break any negative cycles if you happen to fall into one, like a cycle of feeling powerlessness. In my opinion, that's what makes power dynamic relationships within BDSM so useful, because you can create scenes that can create any type of emotion, especially power. Now, I do believe that we all have power inside of us, but it just needs to get tapped into. And we can feel powerful and in a number of different ways. Like, it doesn't need to be expressed through sex, but you still need that outlet or an outlet to express your feelings of power. And I know. Sometimes wanting to feel power is often overlooked with negativity, and even expressing the very idea of wanting to feel power can be met with accusations of greed or selfishness. And again, I'm not saying that power should be the only feeling you should want, but we all deserve to have that feeling. Who said we don't deserve that? Wanting power is not shameful, nor do I think it's self-centered. I think feeling power allows us to take control of negative situations in our lives. In fact, I'm pretty sure that that's a fact. Like, power is what allows us to take control of negative situations in our lives. Without the feeling of power, we really do get stuck and we start to sink into whatever negative feeling that has trapped us. And most of us have been taught to be as obedient as possible, whether it's taught through family, social, or political structures. It really doesn't matter what structure it is, but those structures hammer down and they double down on the feeling of, powerlessness. Like, there's always someone in control and you're not in control. Like, you're never in control. You have to ask to go to the bathroom when you're a little kid, and then you have to wait for your breaks. Like, there's always somebody else who always seems to have some sort of invisible veil on you. And I genuinely do believe that we've been taught to not have power, so much so that I believe that there's people out there that find it challenging to accept the liking of feeling of power, like maybe even scared, because feeling powerful is an overwhelming feeling. But people who don't tap into their power, I do feel sad for them. And it's not like there's no hope, but they need to know that you have to tap into some sort of power source to reach your full potential. And pushing down the feeling of power or burying those feelings is the opposite of healthy. It's not wrong to want to feel emotions. It's how we release them or how we obtain them that matters, right? And that's why you need to release them or obtain those feelings in a healthy, consensual, and informed manner. The first step to knowing what makes you feel powerful is actually self-awareness. So you need some time to think with yourself. How the feeling of power is defined varies from person to person. And although BDSM and kink is often thought of as sexual acts, not all acts within BDSM and kink are sexual. That's the beauty of BDSM and kink. It's more than just sex. Countless activities in kinks have no sexual acts in them at all, but they can still ultimately provide everyone involved the achievement of feeling power. Examples of that is, the partner bossing the other partner around to clean the floor, but nothing but risky underwear and a toothbrush. But who cares? Like, there's no sex involved. It's just the commandment of obtaining someone's willing permission to do everything you ask of them, But when you lose your sense of power, it's devastating. And when you're in a cycle of feeling powerlessness for too long, it starts to overcome you. For instance, at one point in my life, I swear, I feel like I forgot what power even felt like. It was just this ongoing corrosion of piece by piece. And it just felt like every day I had some sort of dash of situation that just kind of left me at the mercy of outside events. But, it kind of feels like you're drowning. And when push came to shove, really my power dynamic relationship was the only place I could create the feeling of power at the time. And it kind of gave me a piece of sanity, the one place I can control things as my life was just like falling apart. And that's what power exchange relationships are. They exchange of power and control between the partners. So one partner, just to give a little bit of breakdown of the word, like it's one partner gaining control and the other giving theirs up. So within this exchange is where I would be reminded of what power felt like. So it was during that given time and place that I could immerse myself back into the state of power that I would hold on to long after the session was done. And there's nothing wrong with having things in your life to remind you that you have power. I think it's healthy to tell people that they need to offset the feeling of powerlessness by creating a situation where you feel powerful, consensually. Giving up control to someone else gave me the power of the who, what, where, when, and why. While on the flip side of that coin, being in control and responsible for my partner's every move and action gives me immense power in its own nature. Both of these roles within the power exchange dynamic opens the doors to feelings of power in a fun, sexy, wild, and imaginative way. You can tailor an exchange or play session with your partner exactly how you want the feeling of power to be executed. However, exercising our power comes with great responsibility, and how we obtain the feeling of power matters. And how we obtain the feeling of power matters. You can't just walk up to someone and take it by force. Like, that's not how ethical power can be taken. That's a crime. Power itself is not good or evil. Remember, nothing gets done without it, but it's the personality of the person wielding that power that it depends on. It really, really does come down to the person using the power and how they are intending to use it. Of course, we all know somebody in some position of power that's abusing it for sure, but ethical power within a power exchange dynamic comes with clear and explicit explanations and communications of how you would like to take or give power. Then you obtain clear, explicit consent from all parties involved. And of course, you've gone over your safe words. as well as the rest of your partnership basics. Power exchange relationships allows partners to explore, rebuild, or reignite the power with themselves. My power exchange relationship allowed me to explore, rebuild, and reignite the power within myself. I asked myself, what situations do I feel most powerful? And you should be asking the same for yourself. What does the setting look like? What's the energy around you? What are you wearing? Are you doing anything specific? Is someone doing something specific to you? Are you lowering or raising your voice? Maybe you're not using your voice at all. There's so many questions when it comes to what makes us feel powerful. So again, don't rush this process. Start with the ones that you know right now. And as you evolve through your sexual kinky wellness journey, you can add to your list. It's easy to forget we have power when we never have an opportunity to feel or wield it. Rediscovering my power by feeling it when I needed it gave me a nudge to stop waiting for opportunities I wanted out of life and just began to create them. Because when the feeling of powerlessness traps you, it's nearly impossible to grow. Our overall well-being depends on our ability to feel our power. And when used with integrity, power does have the potential to heal, develop, ignite, flourish, and propel our sense of self-worth. How I kind of see it is there's two types of people, right? Your sub, your dom, top, bottom, whatever you want to call it. And being in control just lets you regain that mental space of like, yes, I'm in control. I can do this. And giving your power away or giving your control away, for me, it gives me a much needed mental break. You know, I can turn my brain off. I'm trusting my partner just to lead the way. And it's not like we can escape the sense of powerlessness. It's kind of everywhere. You know, travel plans being canceled, significant meetings being canceled, health problems. You know, maybe you're on your way to an important event and every single red light turns red. You know, we've all been there. You can't always win against the feeling powerlessness. Still, we can all offset the feeling by actively cultivating a sense of power through consenting and honest connections, which you can create, which then a power exchange relationship. And again, whether you strengthen your feeling of power through sexual or non-sexual acts, you are responsible for nurturing it, just as much as I'm responsible for me nurturing my sense of power. Without a healthy level of power in your life, it will be extremely difficult to achieve your goals. And remember, like, we all deserve to feel power. I know I've said it before, but I'm serious. Humans deserve that. We're beautifully talented creatures who can feel every emotion we can think of. So if you're thinking about power right now, your soul wants to experience that. Don't forget that. So this year, I really do want you to rebuild your relationship with power back to a healthy level and learn how to use it beneficially. And if you're someone who feels that they give their power away and then is sad about it, I really, really, really want you to take this as a wake-up call to get a grip and work on that in 2023. Like, you are responsible for the actions that you do. And if it's one of those things that you think that sex is your power, like, sex is power. So if you're just giving it away and then feeling bad about it, just remember, like, hookup culture doesn't work for everyone. It's not a thing that works for everyone. Some people need a connection with someone to have a mutually beneficial time with. There's literally data on it. So I ask you, do you feel powerful in your sex life? Or are there some changes that you want to make? Let 2023 be the year that you actually focus on your sexual wellness and your kinky wellness. But, you know, let me know in the comments. Do you even think that we need to feel powerful to be happy? Do you think wanting the feeling of power is detrimental for us? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Well, that's it for me. But again, Happy New Year's. And if you're new here or to the BDSM scene, check out the BDSM basics at www.thepartition.life, where I make it easy to learn the basics of BDSM and kink. Again, you can find that at www.thepartition.life. But thank you for listening. Tune in next week. And as always, stay kinky.